So what I'll present here in the slide is just backup material to show how the demo will look like and what I'm demoing. In fact, I have two of these devices here plugged in. One here just next to this. Unfortunately, the room did not have two sockets, so the other one is there outside of the room. So the roaming part might be a little bit tricky, but we'll get to that later. So what is the V6 hotspot? I will say, what are the customer and the provider requirements? And in fact, this is the first time I know that they're in fact the same. So it's very much a coincidence. I'll display the demo setup, and then of course the demo, potential questions, and hopefully some answers too. So what am I presenting? It's the V6 hotspot through CPE devices. The CPE world is not easy. It should cost no money, preferably. It should have tons of features. Then Mark and his colleagues from Cisco pushing MAP to it instead of doing TS Lite in the backend. Then we got the home net stuff getting pushed to it. And this week I've learned that SDN might become important too. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. But the idea is here to increase the V6 traffic, and we'll try to do that through the V6 GRE tunnel. Why GRE? It's scalable, it's simple, it's very old, it just works. The demo will use EAP as an authentication method, but you can use whatever you want. The gateway is transparent for the EAP method, so you can do EAP TLS, EAP SIM, EAP, whatever. I'm using PEEP, which is the most simple method of doing this. It's just password protected EAP, in fact. It's just setting a password in the SSID. And then finally, we'll show, well, I hope to show that we can do some roaming in the demo. What are the customer and the provider's requirements? Well, people always talk about 3G, 4G, 5G. Well, maybe more numbers will follow. But I don't think that's what they want. They just want connectivity. No matter it's 3G, 4G, IPv4, IPv6, they couldn't care. But they want it at any place. They want it at any time, preferably as fast as possible, and for sure at the lowest possible cost. Now, this is a little nuance here to place. The customer doesn't want to pay too much, and the provider doesn't want to pay too much either for the cost. So the requirements may be not fully the same, but at least I think they agree upon this one. So what do we have here? We have two homes with huge CPEs. I mean, you see, this is a huge CPE of us. And, oh, sorry. And once you boot them, the one interfaces become live. The GRE tunnel gets established. Then the hotspot user becomes into the picture. So he's arriving there at, let's say, home number 1. What it will do with EAP, it will send a radius authentication request to the backend, so to the radius server. This request will happen over V6. So you'll see that the arrows here are in black, because at this moment you're not using the GRE tunnel yet. So it's just sent over the normal one interface. Once the radius accept is there, it will be sent back to the hotspot user. Then the next part starts. It will start an accounting request. Why would they do that? That's because in the backend, to signal where he is, because if he starts moving, it will send new accounting request, and as such, the backend can readjust his routes to make sure that the traffic gets delivered in the proper location. Same happens here. Just the request gets sent, the request gets answered. If positive, it gets connected. If not, of course. Then the second thing, most of the hotspot technologies these days, phone Boeing, home run, I don't know what exists, they use v4 only. We do dual stack. So what happens in fact is a route solicitation will be sent. The user got authenticated, so it will send a route solicitation. It will also send a DHCP v4 solicit. Potentially, you could also send a DHCP v6, so stateless DHCP, but to be honest, I don't know that many devices supporting this out of the box. So this route solicitation gets sent somewhere. In my demo, I'm using an Alcatel using Edge router, but potentially any router can do this. It's based in Antwerp. It's a bit the Belgian week, so let's keep the devices in Belgium. So the route solicitation gets answered. You get your DHCP offer and all the stuff. So at that moment, you have internet access over the GRE tunnel. Now at a certain moment, your hotspot user, he will disappear. He said, well, he will start walking. So he gets out of the reach of the first hotspot SSID, comes nearer to the second one. There might be some overlap. So at that moment, it's no longer valid that he gets his internet access to the first home SSID, to the first hotspot SSID. So in fact, it just moves to the second one. Now I skipped a few steps here because it will start this radius stuff and so forth again. So this was all I had for slides. So I'll try to gain some time for Eric. What I'll do is here I have just a standard Android tablet with me. What I will do is I will redirect some traffic through Wireshark, if I can get that one displayed, at least. Can we bring that up somehow?
Wireshark?
Yeah, Wireshark.
I just don't look on screen. You need to mirror. Can you move it to get a screen?
I'll stop the presentation first. Yeah, that's fine.
You move the screen now, the window.
Yeah, I can't. I just want to display this one on screen.
You need to move it.
I cannot move it, I believe. Oh, like that. Okay.
Okay.
So Master Eric to the rescue. Huh?
Like in Belgium, right?
Well, as I don't see anything on my screen anymore, I'll try to put it on that one, but that's okay, that's okay. So at this moment, I will show the tablet in a minute on the screen. So just seeing some traffic. So what I will do now is switch on the tablet.
You want to maximize the window.
Yeah, but that's okay. So you see the radius stuff, first the access stuff, then the accounting stuff. Pretty straightforward. So what I will play a short YouTube video. Oh, it's not scrolling yet. Yeah, but it's hard to read from from this distance.
To the right.
That one? Oh, there we go. So smooth. So we see the V6 traffic here passing by. But you cannot see the video yet. So I will now come in front of the stage and the cameraman will show another one. Now, as we are in the Belgian week, the coincidence is that I will show a Belgian Got Talent little movie. And soon I will need some assistance as well to switch off one of the CPs. Okay, so can you zoom in, please? So it's in Dutch, so I kept the sound off. But in fact, this is Tristan. He's 4 years old. So you see, you have more talent in Belgium than IPv6 only. And he will do, well, you can see what he was going to do. He's going to do Psy, the Gangnam Style. Yeah, so first the intro of the presenters. Maybe should have skipped that one, but it doesn't take too long. So according to the guy from Google earlier on, this might be the new programmer. Yeah, I can put the sound on the tablet itself, but yeah, it's more visual. See, you get more talented people in Belgium. Now, to do the roaming, I have a bit of a problem because the second CPE is outside. Now I can do two things. I can select a volunteer from the audience or somebody I don't like and send him out, and yeah, then shout when he stops seeing the movie. Because the idea is that, although YouTube, of course, will catch a bit, there will be no interrupt in the video when you do roaming. But I can maybe ask Andrew. By the way, Andrew provided me the sockets here to just switch off this CPE in a minute. Just wait 1 second. What I will do then, normally it should roam to the other CPE, which is there just behind the desk. So just push the button. Should still see the... And this is kind of tricky because I only tried it once here in the room. I guess so. He's still dancing, so it's fine. So as you can see, it just roams. No, you don't have to put it in again. It's just roaming the traffic, and in fact, that's it. I can put a sound. Thank you, Alain. So, any questions? Shoot.
Questions, comments? To Karl, right? Not for Tristan or whatever.
Yes, Tristan. We will hear from him later. Huh? No? Yep.
There's a question in the front.
Thank you for the YouTube video. Please could you explain more? I just didn't quite get what the use case for this is. Is it some kind of service that the network provider is going to deploy?
Yes, well, in the Internet of Things, it's important to keep all devices running all the time. So this is using the home CPE and to put a hotspot service in place. Bandwidth, for sure, in Europe is big enough to share it a little with the outside world. You share your own home CPE, so you can use somebody else's home CPE as well. There are known services like Phone is, for instance, quite known for this. But this one is also offering now the V6 over it. So everything is running V6, but you can still get a dual stack address just to avoid that some services are not running anymore. But if you take YouTube, Chrome, Facebook, whatever, they will all connect over V6.
So the Wi-Fi, the hotspot is some kind of overlay network on the customer's existing home network?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Just multiple SSIDs. You reserve one for the home, and you can reserve a couple of others for hotspot traffic.
That exists today, except that there is no roaming. Right?
That exists today. Well, there is some roaming in the V4 model, so we extended it now to the V6 model, just to enforce to see more V6 traffic flying around. And when we see more V6 traffic, I think the rest should follow.
Any other questions?
Yeah,
Question in the back.
I have one here.
Awesome.
So did you pre-authenticate to the other CPE as well? Or?
No.
So the authentication happened and it continued working?
Yes. And for sure, the eSIM is something the operator typically likes because he owns the database of the SIM cards. So it can quite easily authenticate using the SIM card.
Okay.
Typically, next to that, an open SSID or something is done with some captive portal to also allow other type of phone traffic or whatever to be used.
So how did it, so it detected that the link was down and it automatically seeked the other one to start a EPOL?
He sees the same SSID, because it's of course the same SSID. He just sent his radius request. The password was of course filled in on my tablet, because it's the same username password. You authenticate yourself, or with the SIM card it would be the same. And then you just get connected.
Okay, thanks.
I think the power of this is that it's very simple.
Wouldn't it be interesting to do it directly on the mobile node, let's say, with mobile IPv6?
It's a possibility. There is enough bandwidth on the wired connection. I mean, in 4G you can have, I don't know, 100 megabit, but you share it amongst 64 users. And if you want megabit and a half, on a typical broadband connection, you have, well, at least in Europe, you have enough bandwidth to share a little bit from it without paying a penalty in home. Well, you always pay a small penalty, but not a lot. But you could do that. We also built LTE modems, so you could also use an LTE modem for that. Anything else? Oh, here in front, sorry, I didn't see it.
No.
Oh.
You were showing the cloud. Okay. So next speaker is Chip Popovicu. He's the CEO and founder of